It's holiday time at the Walt Disney World Resort, but they may not be feeling very merry this year because there is an issue with their crowd levels. Folks, we're going to be talking about it today, as well as why those crowds may be staying away from the happiest place on earth. The lights are going out across the theme parks, if you can believe it. And we've got some real insider information, one of the biggest scoops of all time. So sit tight, hang tight, folks. Grab a cup of hot coffee or perhaps hot cocoa, and let's dive in with Disney World right now. Hello folks, welcome back to the WDW Pro channel, where we endeavor to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve. It is a joy to get to do so each and every day, and you make that so. So thank you so much. Jonas J. Campbell, investigative reporter for That Park Place, as well as co-anchor of the YouTube channel That Park Place, joins us once more. Jonas, welcome back.
Good to be here. Pro, I need to catch you on an error that you made already.
What have I said?
This article is about Walt Disney World, and Walt Disney World is not the happiest place on earth. It is the most magical place on earth.
Oh, I apologize. The happiest apparently is somewhere else, perhaps.
It's Disneyland.
Several states west, yes.
Trademark over there in the top right corner, I'm sure.
That's right. Well, Amelia Iglesia, a writer for That Park Place, has a fantastic article out this morning. Folks, if you're not yet bookmarked to That Park Place, what are you waiting for? John Trent now is the chief editor over there. You need to be reading it every day. Such great stuff. She says Disney World begins to roll back some theme park reservation systems as crowd levels drop. Here's the article. Changes are coming to the Walt Disney World Resort. Many of them are returns to what worked much better for decades. For Disney, which has convinced large swaths of consumers to stop attending their parks, they may be desperate to draw back crowds from Southern Florida and Miami. It says Walt Disney World has unveiled details about upcoming changes to theme park reservations and annual pass holder park hopping set to take effect in January. It goes on to discuss this more in depth. And of course, Scott Houston there with the Twitter account explaining the minutia, the details of this. Jonas, one of the things that's interesting to me about this article, though, is that it shows that Disney is now having what I would presume to be a locals problem, because Disney is very happy to be able to know exactly who is coming to their parks and know that ahead of time. The fact that they're rolling these things back for locals and for annual pass holders seems to me to be an indicator that they've got an issue and they need to fix it in 2024. Would that be your assumption based on their actions?
Yes. So with the locals, what they're expecting there is people to show up to the park regularly, spend money on food and also on merchandise, right?
Well, absolutely. And they're probably not happy when they don't have folks showing up. Let's just say it doesn't look good in photos for Disney to be empty. You know something else that doesn't look good, Jonas, though? It doesn't look good when your lights don't work. Take a look at this. This is Epcot, and this is an area that is brand new, just opened, and the lights aren't twinkling, Clark. Look how dark this is. I mean, this is waiting for a lawsuit, you know.
Wow.
And this is our good friend Lorena Creole. She went to Epcot the other night. This area is supposed to be like Vegas. It's supposed to be lit with all kinds of lights everywhere. They're down to just a few little lights in the ground that are still working.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and I think this really speaks to, Jonas, why they're having trouble drawing in crowds if this is the kind of maintenance where we're within 1 week of the opening of this area and they can't turn the lights on.
Right there. Did you see it? Did you see it? Yeah. First of all, that statue, sinister from every angle, and we do have an update on that hideous statue of Walt Disney.
Well, Jonas, tell the folks out there, what is monster lighting? Do you know what?
Yes, I do know what monster lighting.
Tell us about it.
Hey, when you're all gathered around a campfire and you want to put that flashlight right up underneath your face and you point that flashlight up so you look real spooky. That's essentially what they're doing here with Walt. As you get closer to him, you can see that they have this shiny bronze, whatever, maybe bronze, maybe something else, statue here. And it's always lit from underneath. So, which
shows, by the way, Jonas, total incompetence. I mean,
absolute.
You have to be utterly incompetent to think, hey, let's put lights underneath the statue. That's going to look good. Because not only does it make him look like a monster, but it makes every guest who wants to take a photo with Walt look like a monster.
Advance it just a little bit, and you can also see another issue here. You may notice that fourth light is also out already.
I'm sure that one was also pressure washed, Jonas. That was the excuse before. 4,400 PSI, enough that you could cut concrete with it. Apparently,
what I've
that was
been
their excuse for the other lights. I don't know. It's amazing to me that they must have a pressure washing bandit running around Epcot, pressure washing everything, Jonas. Keep him away from Spaceship Earth.
I wonder how much damage has already been done here. I mean, there's a lot about this that I guess it could. This I would not be surprised if this guy gives a couple of kids nightmares. That's a very evocative and sinister looking image. As I've taken to tweeting every time I see a photo of this, it is sinister from every single angle.
Look at this, Jonas, from Mark Moran, and this person was responding to Sir Braden of Mickey Views. So, folks, just in case you think, well, they're cherry picking, they've picked this up from Marina Creole. No, this is another person who walked in this area, which is brand new, which is the highlight of Epcot, which is what they're supposed to be marketing for this year of, oh, we got a brand new area. And the person goes there and is like, I can't see where I'm supposed to step next.
That is so dangerous, and I'm sure Morgan & Morgan is very excited about that. So I'll also point out that all those little puck lights, not the ones that were underneath Walt pointing up, but all those
puck, P-U-C-K lights, everybody. Puck lights. Go ahead, Jonas.
Yeah, all of those are out here, if any of them were even in the ground here. And all of those amazing lights that should be in the shape of the Epcot logo, they're out right now. And this is less than 2 weeks old.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's crazy.
As Culture Casino always likes to say,
hey, and who you talking about at Culture Casino? Who you talking about, Culture Casino?
They need to put the well, do you want to say it, Culture?
No, go ahead.
They need to put the engineering back in Imagineering.
Please, yes.
They definitely do. And you're not wrong, Jonas, when you look at this. It's more than spooky. I'm not sure that this is the best positive portrayal of the man who created all of the wonder around these parks, and whether they be in Florida or around the world. So
if you saw if you saw that thing in a dream, it would not be a good dream.
No, and again, the darkness that has enveloped that particular area it's surprising to me. But then again, maybe not. I mean, look, they were so rushed in getting this project done. They spent they spent what, a couple months doing it, not a few years getting it done.
Oh,
so you would expect them to have the occasional thing that needed to be repaired. And
I think I was there in 2021, or was it 2020, and the walls were up and they should have been working on this project. Also, with all that darkness there, that step up that is not supposed to be there because they refused to lower the legs on that statue. Instead of redoing the statue, they added a concrete step going up to Walt. Having diminished lighting in that area and a concrete step right there where you think you're going to be able to take a clear step is that's a bad idea waiting to happen.
I agree. I think Morgan & Morgan is going to get a lot of love from people who get injured from that. It's going to be great.
Guys, when it comes to the issues around Disney, where I think now they're gaining a reputation, I think the dilapidation of the parks, as they spend all kinds of money on virtue signaling. I mean, the vast sums of money that have been spent on vacuous virtue signaling, such as with the Jungle Cruise ride changes, such as with Splash Mountain. I mean, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Meanwhile, they're not keeping up with the rest of the park and keeping it in a safe place and safe space. And we mean that actually literally, not in the metaphoric version of that. But, like, you need to keep the lights on so folks can see where they're stepping and not bump into somebody or run over a small child or something like that. I think it's beginning to have a real effect because we've got an exclusive scoop here on the channel regarding hotel occupancy for the holidays. And it's not looking good. Now, folks, I want to tell you that if you're trying to book for the first week or second week of January, you're not going to find this to be true because of the marathon. And the marathon still does pull in vast numbers. But if you're looking for December, apparently there are some serious issues at Disney. Now, I want to say that we're entering into rumor and speculation territory here because none of the three of us here can corroborate this. None of us have seen these official documents, but we've talked to some people who work for Disney. We've talked to some people in and around Disney. We've talked to some confidential sources, and we think that they're probably on the money, and we trust them enough to talk about this, but we can't verify it. So take some salt with this. But here's the note that we've received. It says that apparently some of the biggest hotels at Walt Disney World over the holidays this year are actually running at about 65% occupancy, despite the fact that you wouldn't know that otherwise because, well, Disney doesn't want that to be known if it is in case the truth. And here's some more interesting stuff that you might want to know. Apparently, Coronado Springs one of the biggest Walt Disney World resorts or hotels on property, only has about 200 check-ins on Christmas Eve. That's what we're being told. And no part-time concierge cast members were scheduled for a significant amount of time. And I will defend Disney a little bit there if that is true. And there's an if on that. There's an asterisk on it. But if that is true, I could see there being little need of part-timers because the Star Cruiser hotel staff has been dispersed across all the rest of the hotels. So, but 65% capacity at many of these hotels for the holidays is what we're being told by someone who should be in the know. Guys, I think that Disney probably has a problem here. I'm sure we'll see videos and tweets and all of that sort of thing, if we still call them tweets, about how crowded the parks are. But I would suggest that they're not as crowded as they should be during one of the busiest times of year. And if this is true that they're only hitting these kinds of numbers with their hotel occupancy, you can kind of begin to see what we talked about at the beginning of the video, which is that they need to fix their problem with locals. And I would submit to you guys, and you tell me what you think about this, I would submit to you that partially what's going on here is that Disney has eliminated the desire of many of their demographics to the north of Orlando from visiting Disney World now. And they have to pull in vast numbers of people, perhaps from Miami or south of Orlando, who are not paying close attention to this culture war situation. What do you guys think about that?
Jonas?
Well, I can't speak to the geography of the demographic makeup of the culture war as to the state of Florida. But
play it this way, Jonas. Do you think they're getting a huge draw out of Alabama right now? You think there's a lot of Alabamian tourists coming down to Disney World?
Alabamanian? Yeah. Anyways, I think that right now, this is supposed to be the heaviest time at Walt Disney World right now.
And we're not talking about fruitcake.
No, it might be if you eat some of that Disney World food there. They do have good food at Epcot, and the candlelight processional should be going on. I heard Sterling K. Brown did it the other night and did a fantastic job. But right now, this is one of the heaviest seasons for tourism in the state of Florida right now. Christmas and July. There are two heavy seasons at the parks, and this is supposed to be one of those times when you do not go to the parks because they are supposed to be so overstuffed. And it sounds like historically the reason that we're getting this is where we get into rumor and speculation territory. It sounds like the lines that we're seeing from the transit authority and the lines that we're seeing try to get into the park, it's more that they are understaffed and that security procedures have been heightened than they actually have that many people trying to get into the park.
Let me toss this to culture, because I think you're onto something there, Jonas, although I can't know for sure. But what I would remember is we had investigators and reporters from that park place at the parks not so long ago when they first opened Moana Journey of Water. And with that attraction, what we discovered is that the way that Disney made it seem there was a huge upswelling of people who wanted to go see it was they set up these virtual queues and then they shut the attraction down in the afternoon. And so that made the appearance of long lines and photos of long lines. But what you didn't know was, oh, wait, they've set up a virtual queue system that ensures they'll have the biggest wait times possible in the mornings. And then they're shutting down the attraction because it doesn't have, well, this is my opinion on this, because it doesn't have the interest levels to drive it all day long. And once they got those long line photos in, to run their PR, then things settled back down and they went more to a normal operation.
Right.
What do you make of the?
We had people there not that long after. I mean, within a day, and all of those queues were completely empty.
Yes, and photos were shared as well. Culture, what do you make of the way that Disney might try to manipulate or manage the appearance of busyness at the parks, even to such a degree that people in the parks say, "Oh yeah, well it is busy because I'm waiting 2 hours to get through security. It must be busy."
Well, it all comes down to something that they've been doing for quite some time, ever since they started working through the NGE. They've been creating this artificial scarcity, like you suggest, where they will run attractions at 60 or 70, 80% at max their capability. A lot of times the the attractions that drive the financials now, because they've obviously gone through like the third or fourth iteration of their Disney. I don't know, what do you even call it anymore? The Fast Pass Plus is no longer. You've got the Genie Plus thing, plus all the Lightning Round stuff, Lightning Pass, whatever. And all of that is just a way for them to earn additional revenue from attractions that are incredibly popular, their newest things. One of those being the Guardians of the Galaxy. So what's happening here is a lot of deception by Disney into, as far as what these rides, these attractions, these different types of show elements. They have this scarcity that isn't real, that makes it so that people end up having to purchase time to get onto attractions, unlike
That's a great point,
olden
Culture,
days.
because the
So
appearance of scarcity is what drives the purchasing of those Lightning Lane and Genie Plus.
Lightning Lane.
yeah.
And again, the thing, the whole problem with Disney Plus and this new system is we've now returned to what Disneyland originally started with, even though we're talking about Disney World specifically, but it was the tickets. You're literally paying an admission price of over $100 for each individual that enters the park.
Oh,
And
close
then
to
they're
200.
charging an additional admission price to all through the attractions that you're supposed to get as part of the experience for that initial singular
Everyone
ticket.
loves DLC, Culture. Didn't you know that? Everyone loves to buy all
Well,
kinds of DLC on top of what it took to get you through the turnstile.
Especially when it's a poorly planned out after hours event.
exactly. And what's worse, and this is the other problem. I mean, right now they're suffering under the lack of planning for the 100th-year anniversary. That really is the most disappointing thing they could do around the most popular time of year, as you guys talked about. The fact that they are struggling to have their hotels fully occupied is telling. It's telling for a lot of different reasons. One, the economy is not as good as is being portrayed. I think a lot of people are trying to say, well, inflation's down. Okay, but you've increased the cost of everything over 25% in the last 2 years. Everything has gone up, if not more than that. And so you have that working against you. You have the fact that you've now placed admission prices. And here's the thing when it comes to locals, annual passes, something that I used to have. I had the most amazing pass at one point in time that covered both parks, the Premier Pass, and then they got rid of that in favor of individual park passes, and those prices went up and up. And now locals who even have a discounted pass that they can have are no longer investing as heavily in that as they had been before. What has grown, believe it or not, is Universal's annual pass participation. Lots more of those are being sold. Many more. I actually have a Universal pass right now. So
I bet that when you bought it, you didn't think that hard about how much money you were putting into it.
No, I wasn't spending $1,900 a person for a pass. I wasn't spending the over $1,000 for a pass. I was spending well under that. And I tell you what, the value is much better. And the offerings that are coming into Universal, even up until Epic Universe opens, have been well worth the visit to the park. Nothing Disney is offering outside of maybe Guardians, Cosmic Rewind, and maybe the one of the Star Wars attractions that's in Hollywood Studios. Nothing else is worth it anymore at Disney. Disney has allowed itself to become stale and allowed itself to become dangerous. And it's not just the lighting and things we talked about a moment ago. It's everywhere that things are dangerous. They're falling apart. You guys have done some amazing videos here on the channel talking specifically about the fact that there's lots of rides falling apart. It's unsafe, and this is one of the most unsafe things I've seen. Is the lack of lighting. It's not like.
Just imagine if an elderly person was going through there.
Oh yeah, somebody who's got macular degeneration and can't see contrast very well,
or a scooter with no lights on it.
My dad can't see in the dark.
Yep.
Okay, so this would be an immediate stop moving situation.
Right. Yeah, it's not good. And the other thing beyond just this incompetence in terms of where they're putting their money, which apparently is driving down hotel occupancy, although we can't know that for absolutely sure. We're not going to put it up on the screen, guys, but there's been a leaked image that's made its way onto the internet and it's a leaked image, I guess, from a cast member who has shared images of boxes and boxes of Valentino, the little goat character or whatever it is from Wish, merchandise that is just there at Walt Disney World. It looks like it's in the utilidors. I'm not sure though, but apparently, the new content that's supposed to drive folks to the theme parks, not driving people to either theaters or theme parks. And so that's another issue I would say on the horizon for Disney, is that they have to have content that drives people to want to go to the parks. You can run for a few years without new content exciting people, but you can't run very long. So they need Marvel to pick up the slack.
Running without content feeding into the flywheel creates the situation that got Michael Eisner fired.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, well, and that in inadequate attractions. I mean, honestly, you just remember what he did with Disney's California Adventure. Its initial opening was incredibly underwhelming, since you had off-the-shelf carnival rides that largely constituted the bulk of the park.
Well, we may get back to that pretty soon. They may start doing that again and just slather them with virtue signaling, and that'll be fine enough, right? That's good enough. But they'll definitely bring in all of those carny rides only from diverse and underrepresented vendors. So at least that'll make it okay.
Wow.
All right, guys. I think we've shown folks why things are not going so well at Disney with an exclusive scoop. Again, would love to show you that image behind the scenes, but we'll play a little safe with that one. But I'm sure, folks, if you want to find it, it's out there. Somebody leaked it. But that's the story for today. Culture, you've hit a major milestone. You want to share with the folks what exactly happened to you?
Yeah, out of the blue, I went up over 15,000 subscribers and crossed 16,000 overnight.
I was going to say, that 15 wasn't good enough for you, Mr. Piggy Tails.
Apparently not. Yeah, and so coming up sometime, probably after the holiday here, I will have a live stream, and I will, for a period of that live stream, have pigtails because I made some silly bargain. Be careful what you say offhand on the internet, folks.
That's right.
It's ridiculous, but thank you, and thank you for your help in helping me get to those amazing numbers. It's all because of you and the wonderful collaborations we're able to do together. So thanks,
Culture, and I was happy to see Tom getting to celebrate with you last night. But Culture, as I've said on the channel before, you are the same behind the scenes as you are in front of the camera. It makes you someone who is, well, you're just a joy in both aspects, and so I hope people will continue to follow your content and enjoy not only the stuff you bring to the table, but also the integrity that I think that you share with them as well. Jonas, you're doing a great job with that Park Place. I know folks are checking out that channel each and every day. And folks, that's a wrap for us today. But if you would like, on the way out the door, click the like button, share, subscribe. And when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know, are you afraid of the dark? Because if so, you might not want to go to Epcot anytime soon. All right, folks, that's it. We'll see you real soon, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Wilton, you know you're not allowed in the kitchen. And, it smells like burning dog hair. What are you doing in here?
Well, I got a DM from Slade Wilson on how to roast Jonas. I mean, I didn't bother reading it, because I already have the perfect plan.
Wait a minute. So you're challenging Slade?
Well, not really. It's more like what Caffeine Kennedy and Kevin Feige do to Disney. A tag team of destruction. Plus, we're also making sure that everyone knows to subscribe to WDW Pro this Christmas.
Well, I appreciate you helping Pro, but doing one good thing does not make up for both of you doing a bad thing. Pro's making sure everyone gets accurate information and stays ahead of the culture curve, but, oh man, what is that smell? You're not really...
Oh, yeah, no, I'm literally roasting Jonas in the oven. I mean, I was kind of confused on where you were going with that line of questioning in the first place.
Roasting someone's a figure of speech. You don't actually cook them. Somebody! Oh my, hang on, Jonas! Well, I hope you're happy about what you've done this Christmas, Wilton. You almost ended Jonas.
On the brighter side, he looks great with that new tan. I guess you could say I gifted him a nice complexion.